advantage on Jarrett as they hit for turn number 1.
But remember, Dale's been going well on the inside. Does he have the right line, though, Bob?
Davey Allison keeps his car in the middle of the racetrack. Dale Jarrett's car is on the low side. Off the 18 degrees of banking, they go down on 5 degrees of banking, and Dale Jarrett wiggles a little bit as they come out of the second corner. They bump, they touch, they rub, going down the backstretch, side by side, wheel to wheel. Who is it going to be in the Champions Park Club 400? Jarrett has the slight advantage as they go into the third and fourth corners. Davey Allison battles back on the outside. It's going to be a photo finish. They touch coming down through the triangle at the line. Who wins it? I believe Jarrett. All right. ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speed World. Tonight, live from Bristol International Raceway in Tennessee, it's the Bud 500. And once again, we are greeted by thousands of cheering, screaming fans. They know that when they come to Bristol, they're going to see some close competition, and we're set for 500 laps of it tonight. And good evening, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins. Welcome to Bristol. We begin the second half of the Winston Cup short track season here tonight on this half-mile racetrack. As we take a look at the quest for the Cup standings, they have really tightened in the recent events. Dale Earnhardt only has a 69-point advantage on Ricky Rudd. A year ago at this time, the top 5 were separated by 363 points. Tonight, only 189 points separate the top 5. Now, here are some interesting statistics. Earnhardt has 7 wins on this racetrack. Ricky Rudd has no wins, but he has finished in the top 5 9 times. And Allison and Irvin have also recorded a win here at Bristol. Well, we don't know how things are going to go at the conclusion of this race, but one thing we do know, and that is the field is very tight as we begin the competition. And for more on that, let's go to pit road and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you, Bob. You remember the old joke that close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades? Well, it also occurs in qualifying. The difference from being on the pole to being on the truck, missing the field, just a little less than a half a second, 5/10 of a second here. In fact, 2 former pole sitters this year had to take provisionals to get in the starting lineup. Brett Bodine, Quaker State Buick back here, and the Pontiac, the Pennzoil coverage of Michael Waltrip. And the winningest car owner in Bristol International Raceway history, Junior Johnson, a 21-time winner. His car with Jeff Bodine aboard will start way back in 29th spot. And you think qualifying was tight? How about taking a look where John Kernan is standing?
Jerry, I'm standing between turns 1 and 2. As you can see, one groove has worked its way into here to this racetrack. Now, that means it's very important for these drivers to stay in that groove, because if they get out of it, they're going to either go to the back of the pack or they're going to wind up hitting the wall. Track position, very, very important tonight. Now let's go across the racetrack for the command to start the engine.
Our gentleman down here to do it, and at this time, we'd like to welcome back to the stage from Food Lion our honorary starter tonight, Mr. Tom Smith. Gentlemen, start your engine!
The sound of 32 racing engines can lift the spirits of 60,000 people. And my friend Ned Jarrett, his head has been in the clouds since last Sunday. Ned, get on down here. Time to get back to earth, and get back to work again. I'll tell you, that was special, Benny. It was special. And tonight is going to be a very special racetrack. Yes, it is. It's a tough racetrack to pass on. Half a mile track is compared to 2 miles last week. Certainly a difference in the width of this racetrack, too. But Ernie Irvin, who won this race a year ago, starting back in 26th position, Ken Schrader is way back there, too. Those fellas have a tough job ahead of them to try to get up to the field. But you mentioned 2 cars, 2 drivers that's driving Chevrolets. Last week, Fords had the advantage. This week, it's reversed. Well, last week at Michigan, we said that Ford had won 10-5 for Chevrolets on that 2-mile track. Here, would you believe that Chevrolet has won 27 times to 2 for Ford in the last 20 years? Hard to believe, but true.
It's interesting to note also that there is only 1 Chevy that is qualified for the top 10 here this evening. On the other hand, 5 Fords will begin from the top 10, and the pole sitter, Bill Elliott, of course, is driving one of those Fords. Our Speed World coverage of the Bud 500 being brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. By Today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. And by Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil. We'll be back to introduce to you the 32 drivers that will take the green flag in just a moment for the Bud 500.